to do it for 96 hours, that you're not curious enough to know how it's been done.
Yes.
Yeah. So the Hilda F. Young Baci is a young Nigerian chef, and she decided to beat a record that was set by an Indian chef to cook for 96 hours, going 4 days straight. And, you know, it's the condition that is mind-boggling. It's morning, night. You have to stand all through. You get 5 minutes break every hour, or you can accumulate them. Yeah. And then you're cooking. I hear that she's cooked almost 200 or so different dish. People are dancing, keeping her company morning, noon, and night, eating off of what she's cooking. And it's just incredible. You know, the support that she's getting from Nigerians.
Yeah, the support is well-deserved, you know. And it shows that Nigerians love good thing, and they can always rally around good thing, irrespective of ethnicity or whatever. In fact, whenever the ethnicity is when it comes to politics.
Yeah.
But it shows that if we put our mind, we can always unite to do good thing. And the story is very inspiring, you know, and it's. Sometimes I ponder to think how she managed to do that. You know, it's one thing saying, okay, I'm not going to sleep, and you're doing leisurely or doing maybe dancing or some. But this, she's also exerting energy to cook, to serve, you know, for such. I was just taking only 5 minutes. I don't know how she managed to do that. Yeah. But at least what is also helping her, the support she's getting. You know, there's this thing they say in medical field that in addition to the drug or the doctor's attention, is if you have a support system,
solid support
it
system,
helps the someone to even get healed quicker than the other, those who don't have such. So the support she's receiving, the goodwill. And
from the governor of the state going to see her, to representative.
And another thing that it shows that for you to be able to stand and do something shows is something you're passionate about.
Yeah.
It's something that can keep you awake, you know, denied, not feel like sleeping. You know, for those who are into something they are passionate about, they may forgo so many things. That shows that she's really passionate about this. And for her to, the thought process that come into it, that, look, I want to do this. I want to stand out. It has inspired a lot of people, even myself. It made me to begin to think, what can you do to stand out? You know, it has pushed a lot of us to start asking questions. I know, yes, Guinness Book of Record. Some people there's also some critics like, why should it be food? Can Nigeria get serious? People are celebrating.
Who are these people?
Engineering feat, this. But this is what she's doing. And food is part of, in fact, is basic necessity of life. And those who are in science, who are in engineering, can do their own. And we'll clap for them. After all, Nigerians have also achieved a lot of feats in other fields, which we also celebrated. When Toby Amusa broke the record sports, and this thing, we all united and celebrated her. There was a recent, I think, there was a recent... I know Abraham Adesanya too, that reclaimed the UFC fighter. We celebrated him.
Rooted for him, exactly.
Rooted for him. Then other Nigerians that have been doing us proud in one way or the other. We always, you know, see, let me tell you, this division you are seeing in Nigeria is when we come back. When you see Nigeria outside, we are one. Whether Muslim, Christian, Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba, different, we don't even emphasize that difference because you're excited to see, in fact, that you see African, a black, especially if you go into areas that are mostly white dominated, and you now see a black skin, you get so excited. So there are a lot of good takeaways from this.
Indeed.
You know, talking points, the passion,
Like you
pursuing your
mentioned,
dream.
the passion that would keep you up at night,
at night.
standing on your feet for hours to prove a point
and
that you
trying
can.
to be different, daring to be different.
Yeah.
The thought process, the creativity, because she didn't just wake up.
Oh, no, I heard she prepped herself months before that time.
So it was even today. I said, okay, let me go to her Instagram. And I checked their post she made where I saw her. It took pictures with some known actors, and it was a cooking. It was like a reality show about cooking, and it was like 42 weeks ago, meaning that it's not today.
Yeah.
And then when she launched her restaurant, Food by Hilda or something like that, it was like, I checked, 32 weeks back. So, and she was celebrating it. So, meaning that she didn't just wake up. For those who want to do emergency Guinness Book of Record, it's something she didn't just wake up today. Meaning that you have to plan. There are plans that...
Intense preparation.
Preparation. Then she also have the support system. So, the passion, planning, daring to be different, then support system. We need to have people support.
Yeah.
It's not a one-man show. I watched the video when she was she released before she entered into this that she was about to go. She talked about that. Look, even though she's the one that's doing it, but she's not doing it alone. That there are a whole lot of people that are rooting, supporting, assisting. So it's not a one-man show. It means that team spirit, together we can go far.
Yeah.
Alone you can go fast, but together you can go far. And then the unity and diversity that Nigerians we can unite for good purpose, for good things. So that's what all this shows,
Indeed. And while we're still waiting for the official confirmation, it's saying following Nigerian chef Hilda Baci's success at breaking the world cooking record, the Guinness Book of Record has acknowledged her laudable efforts. The acknowledgement was made in response to an inquiry early hours of today, seeking to know why Baci's success was yet to be acknowledged. And they have done that. So we're still waiting for her to set a new record. She's beat the old record.
No, she has already set a record.
By beating the previous one. But the target is 96 hours. Yeah.
And this is just for herself. So, but she has beaten that record. Even for a millisecond, it's a record already.
It's a new record.
She has said. So, but it's the target she said before she started it, which is 96 hours. The other one was 87 point something, 87 hours point something seconds or minutes or something like that. So she has beaten that. So record, going towards the target she set, 96 hours. So which is a hallmark, apart from breaking the record, it's a hallmark. So we are already celebrating. So it's good, and she's young. She's a youth. It shows that it shows that people are not just there as slave queens and all these things, that there can be beauty with brains as well.
Well, there are a lot of beauties and brains and
yes. That when you see people, like some people have this kind of notion when they see some because I've seen some
profile them a certain way. You find your coffee.
So that's why I'm also happy about it. I've seen some of her pictures where some people immediately you have this kind of notion, but it shows that
very resolute, determined young lady.
Yes, it doesn't.
I hope that when all the accolades started coming in and all of the endorsements and the deals started coming and she grows, people will remember that she paid the price and put in the work.
That's the thing.
Because there's always a tendency for you to start to think women have always been undermined. Every achievement of a woman is reduced to she slept her way through, or God favor, or because she's a woman and she's curvy or stuff like that. So I hope that these things are not reduced in any way.
So, and there are a lot of Hildas across Nigeria who are doing their own thing in one corner or the other, doing wonderfully well. maybe because there's no record attached, and there's no media focus on them, and they are doing wonderfully well. So she is like a representation of these millions of Nigerian youth doing wonderfully.
I mean, Nigerians, I went to several offices and an eatery, and I saw live. People were actually following on YouTube. It's another big brother situation going on. It's one of the biggest reality TV where people just want to be minute by minute on social media, on TV, to just follow up on how she's doing.
And the country... Yes, after the election, the mood is so sad. And so people have been looking forward to break something just different apart from the election and the vexation that comes with it. And, so this provided a leeway, especially for the youth that so much invested in the election. So this, because there have been a lot of things that have been done to divert attention, away from it. And this succeeded massively to that. And like you say, the endorsement has already started because this the project itself was sponsored by I think both, like the food she was cooking. The food is free.
I know,
So some organization
partnering with her. I mean, it's a lot of work for you to even want to get into Guinness. You have wrapped up that end of the deal.
Yes.
And they must have enough confidence that you can pull it off.
Yes. So it's not a done deal. When she said this, in that she could have broken down, something could have happened, maybe health, and she couldn't, because it's not easy to stand up and
I know, I would have fainted like 4 times.
That's what I'm saying. To even stand up.
Sometimes to make my lunch is a difficult task.
She's a very strong lady. Look, I don't know how many people that could pull this off.
Congratulations, as you set a new record, Hilda. We're so proud of you. And then to those who are saying Nigerians could do things in other areas, I mean, Hilda will not be the first Nigeria who is breaking record. We have Bosse Omolayo, heaviest power lift by female in the 79 kg category, 144 kg category. It was achieved by Bosse Omolayo at the World Para Powerlifting Championship in Georgia in 2021. We also had Paul Kendi, the heaviest para powerlifter by male, in that same one. Stephen Keshi also came up, the youngest person to win the African World Cup of Nations as a player and coach. So that also was captured, as a record. Chinonso Eche, the most football header in a prone position in 1 minute, 233, and was achieved by Chinonso. I mean,
I mentioned Toby Amusa.
Amusa. We have American football touch with the feet in 1 minute. Is 75 and was achieved by Haruna Abdulaziz, a Nigerian in Kano on the 1st of October 2020. I mean, we have Bio, the latest photo of book measures 60.84 meters, achieved by JT agency. Bio.
And there's this dancer. Kafi, who
Bio was the photographer for President Buhari.
Yes. There's also this dancer, Kafi.
Yes, who danced the longest, Kafi.
So we've been doing it,
So we've had record breaking.
This one
Blessing Okagbari
came the mood was ripe for this. So like I told you, the nation needed something to...
A distraction of some sort.
Yes. And it worked.
All right, then. And let's move on to the next story. Ibrahim Hajara, we see on YouTube. Noel, congratulations to Baci. We're proud of her. Richard Mbang says, Kim, all right. Richard, thank you very much for your kind word. And Charles F. Young say, one takeaway from the great feat by the heroine Hilda is the support from Nigerians from all walks of life, Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo, and other tribes. If we all team up as one, irrespective of our tribe and religion, there's a lot we can do and achieve as a nation. And he's saying congratulations to her. And a virtue for Maso Drive, just to let everyone know, Hilda is a full-blown, we're not bothered about her political leaning. She is a daughter of Akwa Ibom State who is making Nigeria proud. I hope, all right. Virtue is trying to drag politics. Let's just bask in the euphoria of what she's doing. Comrade Chris Ezocha from Madala, kudos to the lady that won the cooking competition. It's not a cooking competition, it's a marathon, a record, a Guinness World Record.
She's competing
with herself right now. The impossible is possible, only that it's not being tried. The determined cannot be deterred. Nothing would ever be impossible to someone that is of the right mental perspective. Hafsat, we see you. And she's been preparing for 5 years, says Dio. I mean, the amount of work, preparation, the intensity of it is all culminating into the success that we're seeing today.
Yes.
Now, let's go to another story that's got a lot of Nigerians talking at the moment, and that is about Seun Kuti. So, Afrobeat musician Seun Kuti has been arrested and is currently being detained at the State Criminal Investigation, popularly known as Panti, in Lagos State, over an alleged assault on a police officer on Saturday. The musician was accompanied by a lawyer representing Falana and Falana Chambers, the law firm of popular human rights activist Femi Falana-san. And it's gathered exclusively, I think, at this point from Punch. They obtained the video clip, which has now gone viral, and picture showing the musician in handcuff while being paraded by police officers as the SCID Lagos. It was reported that a viral video of Seun Kuti assaulting a police officer on the 3rd mainland bridge in Lagos emerged on Saturday, and the IGP Usman Baba, as a result, ordered the arrest of the singer. The IGP equally ordered a speedy and full investigation into the remote and immediate cause of the alleged assault and prosecution of the suspect accordingly. This was as the musician allegedly attempted murder of himself and his family. Attempted murder of himself and his family by the police officer in question in a social media post obtained. And following the IG's order for his arrest, Mr. Kuti in another Instagram post said, "I welcome the investigation. I'll give my full cooperation. I also pray to the IG that whoever is wrong should be indicted." This was as the Police Service Commission demands the immediate prosecution of the musician, adding that no one has the right to assault a police officer in uniform on duty, no matter the offense committed by the police officer. And following the development, Falana San said the musician has sought his legal service, adding that Seun Kuti has evidence to defend his action. And he risked 3 years imprisonment, according to Section 356 of the Nigerian Criminal Code Act, if found guilty of assault against the yet-to-be-named police officer. Seun Kuti is liable to spend 3 years in prison if they're found guilty. Some other accounts are talking about he apologized to the officer, he offered to fix his vehicle, and all kinds of accounts coming in. But the IGP has said, no, this cannot happen.
No, there's a lot of symbolism and optics about this, and people we can try to, especially if you are such an influential person that has a lot of people looking up to you, or when you say something, it creates we shouldn't come to a situation where we set a precedence that we can just harass, intimidate, and beat our uniform officers. And what we are crying against, human rights violation, being done by officers against the citizen. We shouldn't, as a citizen, begin to, inflict such on officers. Yeah. So I don't know. It's not right in any way. And many people have tried to compare Seun with his father, Fela.
I mean, that's a huge shoe to fill.
Yes, but Fela, usually when you hear the story of Fela, he's at the receiving end of brutality by state officials, be it soldiers, be it police. Not him doing this one. Now is the other way. You are now brutalizing a police officer. What Fela does is normal civil disobedience, expressing his
either musically
right of
or
expression
protest and the likes of it,
doing protests, carry coffin to go, and all those kind of things, which is an activism. But this is, everything is wrong with what Seun did, and it shouldn't be left like that.
Based on what we saw.
Based on what we saw.
On the part of what is speculated.
If the video is not doctored, based on what we saw, an individual slapping, laying hand on. It's not as if it's even a case of self-defense. Even in self-defense, this is not a case of. At one point,
it wasn't. The police officer didn't have a gun on him. So from the video, nobody. I can't say for sure what transpired and led to that.
Like what we already, like I'm saying, what I'm saying. If the video, he hasn't said the video is doctored.
So far, so good, no?
Seun, I've never said the video was doctored. He was only trying to give, try to justify. But such act can never be justified. It's not as if we're in a war zone and there's an enemy. Police now is the enemy. Seun has his own combatants and has his own forces, and he captured the other one and try. Even in warfare, there is law guiding, the rule of warfare.
Yeah.
And these are things we have been preaching against. Human rights violation by state security officials. So, and we shouldn't encourage it if citizens are now the one inflicting on meting it against the state government officials. So what is wrong is wrong, no matter who is at the receiving end or who is doing such. So I've been at the vanguard as close as I am with security agencies and all that. But I've been on the vanguard, talking, advocating against right violation, maltreatment of citizens, to ensure that citizens' rights are preserved. Even more so, our security agents, their rights also need to be protected. Sure. Apart from the job they are doing, they are human beings as well. They're also protected by the law to do their job, then by also civil law as human beings, as citizens of Nigeria who deserve to be right to freedom, not to be harassed, not to be intimidated, not to be brutalized, and so the law should take its course, whatever it is.
Well, we'll see how it pans out, because the video doesn't look good for Seun Kuti one bit. However, the lawyer says he does have his ground. It's left to contest it when they get to court to see if it was enough ground to physically assault a police officer in uniform. And given the fact that it feels like some people, they want to undermine authority to the point of...
There's this attitude Nigerians that feel that they have power. They feel that they can do and get away with anything. There was another video that was trending where is it a lecturer or a government that teamed up with his help and brutalized a female police officer.
Yes. I mean, we even had one in the FCT here where the person she was signed to the house, brutalized her and drew blood.
That's what I'm saying. And we've seen a situation where all these government officials, all these public officials turn their state security agents to help, carrying umbrella. These are demeaning. And it reduces the psyche and the mystique that comes with state security agents. And it becomes a kind of habit. And again, I don't want to be political, but I just want to make an analogy.
All right.
Before this Seun Kuti went viral, there was another musician, Zazazu,
Portable.
When Portable,
I mean, that case is still pretty much in court.
When they came to what Portable said, do you know I'm supporting government?
I'm a government child and stuff like that.
So you feel that in title, okay, we are the one coming to power, or we are in power, we can do and undo. So that mentality is already, and that's why there should be justice. You see people threatening others openly, and nothing is done.
They get away with it.
It empowers others. This one got away with it because he's a government person. He's protected by government, and you feel okay because I'm supporting government.
Just some people, like you mentioned, Senator, that arrogance of do you know who I am?
Does it? The arrogance of do you know
I can call your superior.
I'm part of government. I know who is in government. That kind of thing, and you begin to abuse your privilege, abuse your influence, abuse your connection, and this kind of culture is something we begin
I was talking.
Seun is just a micro.
I agree with you. I was talking with someone
bigger problem
who I was in his vehicle some time back, and he was angry that the policeman stopped him. Like, well, then the way the confrontation, like the policeman didn't do anything, was just doing his job. First of all, Oga, slow down. Inner light. Well, now let's look at you and the person you're carrying, and you go upset. Police are criminal. Like, where is that coming from? Where's that anger coming from?
That's for okay.
Maybe I suspect where it's coming from. However, no, it doesn't correct anything. It doesn't cancel anything out.
Except if the police begin to overstep begin to ask all those annoying, ridiculous...
demanding for money, then you would have...
If you get angry with that, without crossing the boundary, it's okay. But no matter who you are, even if you are even the IG, but you are not, you are on mufti, and you pass where police supposed to check you, and if I'm not IG, I'll even query that you are not doing your job. Normal, if you come to, no matter the connection, most time I have ID card I could present, but normally I will allow you ask the normal question, do your job.
Yeah.
It's when you begin to now do something I feel that this is infringing on my right, or you're behaving extra judicial or something that is against the law, then I may begin to question why you're acting that way. That is normal. Without necessarily crossing the... You can't use wrong to counter wrong.
Yeah.
So, but that, like you said, that spirit of do you know who I am is a default mode in every Nigerian. Maybe it's because we are growing in a culture that people get away with a lot of that, and most times when people obey the law, they get oppressed even the more. Then when people begin to show braggadocio and they get away with a lot of things, and that culture begin to degenerate from one level to another until we are getting to this level. So a lot of these things need to be addressed. So police and other security agents don't victimize Nigerians, don't victimize the citizen. And that's what led to this answer protest. Then the citizen too, those who have influence, power, don't, degrade, demonize our security agents. And we have seen this a lot.
From traffic officer who tell you stop and you think, how much do they pay him enough for me to stop, and you move by. I mean, I see the point for us to correct ourselves here. And I'm glad you also emphasize on the part about the brutality, because it feels like that anger is coming from that place, like they do it to us. So I might as well stand my ground.
Yes, there's this analogy I do give about, sorry, I'm using feminism. They call them feminazi. So some women, because they feel the anger that the women have been oppressed and suppressed for a long time due to culture and this thing. Now, instead of advocating to create equity, some are trying to replace men, their own oppressor, by oppressing those. I don't know whether, they said most of people who are under oppression, their aspiration is to become like their master. Read that.
Pure Animal Farm. You kick out the whites, the white people, and then you come and do.
Not that you are coming there to try to rectify the wrongs. So instead of you now trying to rectify the wrong, you are now trying to become those that you are oppressing you. So we shouldn't create such a society.
No, but how does that count with feminism? I was waiting for you to arrive at your point.
No, feminism, I see some women, maybe where you see some women, maybe they brutal, like some men also suffer domestic violence.
Oh, well,
they see that men are at the receiving end of such. They suffer domestic violence, even they get killed. Then you see some women's, women have been suffering that, yes, this woman is right. And
we now support blindly.
Let men feel what we are feeling. I don't know whether you get. I'm not against feminism. I'm saying the extreme, what we call feminazi. Those who have taken it to the extreme, that anything woman does to get at a man is right. Whether he kills the man, whether he brutalizes the man, which is a mentality of coming of anger, like you're saying, that anger of police brutality. Some people take it now to the extreme. Like I see some people cheering it whenever the security agencies are at the receiving end. Some people will begin to cheer. Yes, they suffer Nigeria enough. They've brutalized. Let them test their own medicine. No, we shouldn't be like that. Indeed. We shouldn't. Our anger is to correct, not to become what we are trying to correct. Try to correct.
All right, Peter Matthew, I see you, and OSH Association, Nigerian region. We see you. On Seun's story, no normal person would back what he did. If he had accused the officer of trying to kill him and his family, would have charged the matter to court. Can he do that to a UK police? Adebisi Abiodun were very happy by the new feat achieved by the Nigerian youth, Baci. In as much as it's unnecessary for any sincere citizen to support this act, it remains the product of impunity that is today celebrated in various quarters of our nationality. The executive do not obey laws is what Ultimate G shared on YouTube. We're streaming live, just so you know, at Nigeria Info ABJ. UM Etim, we see you. Clem says, good afternoon to the digital oracle. Are you keeping on the good work? Thank you very much. Nice to see you also, David Agim. And on WhatsApp, we have here, Sent the mathematician says, myself and Hilda schooled in FGC Rubochi, and the unbelievable part of it all is that she was so unassuming back in the day. I'm so proud of you, Hilda. But police can beat, slap, humiliate citizens and nothing happens, right? Manzo, well, no, wrong. That's why they had the NSAS protest.
Yes.
And that's why, we keep our voice up. By we, I mean Nigerians, to say it's not right. But, you can't correct an ill with another wrong.
Yeah,
that's what you've been trying to portray.
That's what I've been emphasizing on this.
Yeah. And quite impressed with the way Nigerian youth united to support her dear Hilda. Nigerian politicians should stop dividing us. The love she's received so far from Nigeria, irrespective of our religion and region, is commendable. Congratulations, Hilda. Olivia from Gariki. About the Seun issue, I was very angry watching the video. Seun doesn't have a right to assault a police officer. What? Okay. He was even bragging to have slapped other police officers. They should make sure he's used as an example for any celebrity who thinks they're above the law. He does not have any ground. The Nigerian police force should make an example of him, says Moses from Massacre. And let's see here. Comrade Ezocha, I read your message earlier on. Seun must not go unpunished. Oludade Abiodun's take there. Good afternoon, Kim, and our guest. In any case, in Nigeria that involves an influential person will never see the light of day. It's even another police officer who backed the influential person against his fellow police officer. In Nigeria, justice is bought with money, says Justice of Peace. That is his opinion. Let's look at one more story quickly and go to the phone line to get some thought. May 29 is around the corner, counting down to the next administration, as at this point, President Buhari and his family have moved to the glass house, the transition home. However, there's still a bit of trepidation, this time around being put out by security agencies, the DSS, that some people are trying very hard to scuttle the inauguration. And the big question is, why is this particular election and inauguration matter such a big deal compared to the previous one? I mean, I'm trying to recall if we had this heightened call, I guess people trying to, destabilize or scuttle or cause chaos during the 2019 inauguration or the 2015 or 2011 at any point. However, the Nigerian police force said it's launched a manhunt for politicians who are allegedly plotting to scuttle the forthcoming May 29 inauguration of the president-elect Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his vice Kashim Shettima. The Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba, disclosed this at a press briefing at the force headquarters, Abuja, today. Were you there by any chance? I know you cover a lot of security report. He said the operations were being carried out in collaboration with other security agencies, particularly intelligence officials. Baba explained that the development became imperative in order to tame subversive elements who had been trying to destabilize the peaceful environment currently being enjoyed in the country. That following the successful conclusion of the 2023 general election, it's been observed that some major political actors are not comfortable with the outcome and have been issuing public threats that are directed at instigating action to frustrate the presidential inauguration ceremony on the 29th of May 2023. The Nigerian police and the national intelligence community have been closely monitoring the activities of these political elite, as well as other elements who have formed themselves into unpatriotic brand, whose only fantasy in recent time is to subvert our national security interest. He went on to say, in so doing, they seem to be bent on deploying extrajudicial and undemocratic means to truncate our democratic heritage in advancement of their narrow personal political consideration. The beauty of democracy, he said, lies not just in the freedom of the citizen to freely exercise their franchise within the electoral circle. It's also hinged on the right of aggrieved political actors to submit grievances on the electoral outcome to the judicial process for consideration. And noted that security agencies would no longer tolerate any utterance capable of throwing the country into turmoil, adding that any political actor who does not heed to the warning will be made to face the wrath. And added, ladies and gentlemen, the imperative of peace in our national life cannot be overemphasized. So they know some people who are apparently making statements, who are cooking trouble.
I think this statement from police is I don't think there's anything new from.
The DSS already said something of that.
Similar,
regard,
yes.
So.
Before, sometimes some of these statements sounds so alarmist without any substance, and people have said if you really have, just bring the evidence and let people see. You can even make arrests with evidence, solid evidence, because in democracy, opposition must be allowed to have a voice. People must be allowed to have a voice. We are not a one-party state. That's what is democracy. Opposition must make you uncomfortable, and that's how democracy works. If you're a government, you're expecting opposition to keep quiet or whatever, or the citizen, then you are wrong. That's dictatorship. So state security agencies must be careful not to also allow themselves to become an arm of the ruling party. They are working for the state.
Yeah.
And then if they know any statement or whatever, there are relevant laws that can deal with such statement that is against the law. There are law of laws that then. And they say there are people who want to stop or scuttle. As I'm sitting here now, I don't know any from opposition, and most of these statements have either be coming from the ruling party. They want to form a parallel government, or they want to form which one, the interim government or something like that.
Oh yeah, I mean, just based off on the protest by a few people at the start of it who said. They lashed on that to drive the point.
Apart from the protest PDP made at the INEC early time, made at the INEC headquarters to express their displeasure or with the outcome of the polls.
Yeah.
I don't think there has been any other sustained or violent protest that's undemocratic. Even the one PDP is a normal democratic process to express the only any utterances that is controversial but is not subversive was the one made by
the vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party.
He didn't say they shouldn't swear in. He only made his own reservation that if such he feel that he creates a dent, but he hasn't called. If he has made any, that is, I think DSS or this thing will have even called him for questioning. I don't think though his comment is strong, it's a come out of strong conviction.
Yeah,
is within the bounds of the law, but it's a strong one. But apart from that, but he has not called. He didn't even make any call to say they are forming a parallel, which APC did when they were in opposition. They actually called.
So they were going to form a parallel government.
If they don't get their way, they will form, and nobody arrested them, nobody harassed them. So I don't know this.
Well, maybe not if they don't get their way, but if the election is not free, fair, and credible.
Who defined that? That's what I'm saying now. Who defined fair and credible? If they haven't won, would they would have found premise to say, okay, this is not fair and credible. Or if the election were not actually credible and they lost, would they?
I mean,
yes,
some will say that's the reason why former President Jonathan had to make the call early to avoid any form of tension.
Because we have had elections in the past that were not credible. Even Yar'Adua, who inherited such,
did admit it.
If they were in no position then, and they say, we are going to form our own parallel government. These are statements that is not actually that they mean, but they are trying to be careful not to create, which is Nigerians understood what they meant. It's not actually that. What I'm saying, I'm trying to compare to that we have not had any utterance that is as, polarizing or pushing the envelope as like that. The only closest we came to was that Ahmed, but it's not even as that Ahmed never even say they are going to. Only saying that if such, then it create a dent to democracy. He didn't say they shouldn't swear in anybody or it's going to raise hell and brimstone if they eventually swear in anybody. Then if they know better than, I'm not saying that they may not have any, but what Nigerians are saying, stop making all these statements that heighten tension without any credible evidence. If you know that someone is really plotting, arrest them. Let Nigeria know who is behind such, and with solid evidence. Then if they've run foul of the law, you charge them to court. Then court should decide. In fact, by the time you make an example and Nigerians begin to see, because no majority, in as much as most Nigerians want credible election, most Nigerians also don't want illegal takeover of governance or to create chaos. So people have respect since the election, no matter how people feel. There have not been violent protests. People have not been taking laws into their own
I think
hand.
A lot of people are focused on the judiciary at the moment to see how it plays out there.
So the major parties they are talking about has gone to court, which is normal legal provided by the Constitution. So the case is in the court, and apart from making statement that they know they won this election and they are going to prove it, which is normal. It's a normal. There's nothing wrong about that. So but the law have said who INEC has declared, and the evidence is there that see who won the election, and all Nigerians are looking towards that May 29. So, but if the other subversive elements that are plotting anything that the security agents know, they should ensure is their job, not issuing press statement every now and then, and the DSS will issue,
some will say this particular one is different because it has an interesting dynamic to it. We're having a third first. We're having establishment neck to neck, making demands, making assertive statement like about the election. So,
which is beautiful. We should be celebrating.
Which is beautiful. It's a good thing for Nigerian democracy,
we don't
actually.
want a one-party state. Like when PDP was almost swallowing all the whole position, I wasn't happy about. In fact, when APC finally emerged, I said finally we are having a credible opposition that would give the ruling party, because then they were boasting they are going to rule for 60 years unbroken, this one, that one. And, if a opposition want to, they will go and create one kind of drama there and kill such opposition until this came. Even though towards when the campaign really started, I didn't like their civic nature of the APC campaign. It put me off as a person. So even though I wanted opposition, it put me off. But it was all beauty of democracy. And they won. First time. And the ruling party then, the President Jonathan, allowed them freedom of expression. There's nothing they didn't do. What is it called? The anti-subsidy this removal protest. They laid it now, and which eventually led to discrediting of Jonathan government, and they didn't survive it. They marched to the INEC. President Buhari's opposition then, with all the opposition elements, they marched to INEC
on several occasions. Also went to court.
They went to court on several. So there's nothing opposition is doing now that they, when they were in opposition, they didn't even do times 10. Sometimes even those who are supporting obedient movement now, I think part of their anger with even PDPs that they felt they are not providing a viral opposition to the ruling government, calling them out in some of it. They get away with a lot of things. You know, look at how many billions are still borrowing with a few weeks to the end of administration. So if you're in a democracy and your government, is the right of opposition and right of the people to hold you accountable, call you out vociferously. As long as they've not called for subversion, there's no treasonable...
But some people say there's a thin line.
Thin line defined by the law. The laws are there. And if such, and DSA is also there to they are not the court. They can call you to ask you some questions and let you go. If they feel there's credible, police is there to charge you. The state is there to charge you to the court. And court will decide that the state charge you. State doesn't have the final say. That's executive. Now, the court, then democracy is dead. Yeah. You only want to
one of the key elements is the free press in any democracy.
It's the pillar of democracy, civic expression. So these are things. But from the statement, they say they've noted that their investigation have. So we are waiting. We want to see those people they say.
Well, it will also be great to see politicians who are capable of causing trouble. I mean, it's about time. Let's fish them out. People shouldn't get away with that.
Whether you're in opposition or you're in government,
but we know that
you cannot hide under the guise of
flippant statements have been made from all sides. I mean, if you go on social media, from the ruling party, the incoming government, from the opposition, supporters and the likes, you get to see flippant statements charging up the atmosphere. And it's basically coming from politicians at this point in time. So let's hope that give the police the benefit of doubt that they're going to be very neutral in going out of people, because even the scuttling can come from the camp that is in power at the moment. So it needs to be that base where you're looking for troublemakers.
We don't just want statement without backing it up with evidence. Let people be arrested and let us see those who are behind such.
You want to see politicians in handcuffs like Seun Kuti? Attempted scuttling in May 29 election.
Because DSS have issued this similar statement, military have issued it, police have issued it, and
that's what's making it troubling. There are a lot of people. This warning is coming repeatedly,
and we are not even. And we begin to wonder who might this be? Who are these people? So we want to see result. We want to see people arrested and let us know. Well,
we'll give them benefit of that. Security agencies, they are privy to a lot of security intelligence. So,
and we are here to talk and criticize their action. Critic their actions.
All right.
It's not as if they are wrong. We are just critiquing it.
Yeah. Let's hear a caller before we go for the news break. Hello.
Thank you, Dr. Oreku Abuja from Gogolada, and good afternoon, I guess.
Good afternoon.
We must condemn any action that is not is unjust. The action taken by the son of Fela is unfortunate. He should be made to understand the humility before the law. But I don't believe he should be jailed. It does not arise. Jailing him does not arise. He can be made to perform a community service so that you develop a virtue of humility before the law. That is basic for my own.
Thank you.
And for those who also you are going for it?
Okay, no, go ahead. Wrap up your thought.
Okay. Nobody is going to go through the inauguration. So what we are saying, let we sort out who is the really winner of the last presidential election. If Nigeria must move forward democratically. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Abubakar. And another caller quickly. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
This is
okay, go ahead.
I want to comment on the issue of this report police said that some people are trying to protect her. And this have said because this is a high time we will start to hear the pride. Because the only thing they are trying to do is just to silence the opposition. Once you make a statement that doesn't support they will swear it for the time. We are trying to truncate the story. And that is not supposed to be so. Once they didn't say, don't do that, but they are pointing at us. Don't do this thing. If you do it, it's not good like this. It's not good like this. We are in the developed world, we are progressing. If something happens last 20 years, and we want to do it differently this time, what is something different? So, I don't see anybody that is saying that they try to truncate it. But
all right.
Let's assume the comment the presidential for a peace.
All right, sir.
But do more than what people are saying, but nobody questions him because he's the ruling party. It's not good. It's not fair. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your comment. And Joseph Chinago on YouTube is saying, Joy is standing by for the news. You're correct. She's actually standing by for the news. Let's join her.
Hello, my name is Kimberly. I'm the host of Hard Facts, and I bring you the biggest stories driving conversation every weekday here on 95.1 Nigeria Info Hard Facts Show. I love to get your opinion and conjectures, but the facts you cannot dispute here on Hard Facts. Join me and let's talk.